Welcome to another episode of the Ambitious Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Sabine the Purpose Lawyer. Thank you for listening and thank you for helping me be on purpose. So, today I am going to be talking about something that I never thought I would say, but it's politics. We're talking about politics today. But wait, do not hit that X. Don't click unsubscribe yet. It's going to make sense, right? So, you guys know I always talk about trust and estate planning and legacy and all that good stuff. And so I found a story that incorporates trust and politics. So we're just going to touch on it because it's going to make you look at trust in a different way than you normally have in the past. So a little bit of politics. Track with me here. So we have Governor Gavin Newsom of California and his, I guess, arch nemesis, which is Ron DeSantis, who's the governor of Florida. And those two individuals are rumored to be running for president. And so they're expected to be, running at the top of the ticket against each other. And so what's interesting about the story is Governor Newsom's own family, right? His in-laws have a family trust. And his in-laws is said that they have contributed to his opponent, Governor Ron DeSantis's campaign, right? And so shade, right? So both of you guys are looking to be in the running for presidency, and his family is basically donating to the other guy through their trust. I thought that was crazy. And of course, obviously, they didn't do it anonymously enough because this came out in the news, right? And so it made me really, realize or just remember that, you can really use your trust not only to leave assets to your loved ones like many of us are looking to do, or just make sure that our assets don't get lost and actually get to someone who we want it to go to, but we could also use it to impact, right? I heard this gentleman called 19 Keys said that people vote but the wealthy lobby, right? And so you can certainly set up your trust to have features that allow your family and your loved ones to be able to lobby and have political change, right? To assert their political power, aka just, have someone listen to their concerns and their wishes, because that's how things sort of happen, right, in this world, right? Through money, through impact, through influence, you can certainly, have or make a change, in what's sort of going on. So they used their revocable trust, which was titled in their name, right? Their last name. And that's how it was like easily traced back to them. And now I usually tell people when we're creating their trust, like, okay, you don't necessarily have to use your family name. You can kind of name your trust whatever you'd like. There are like a few like sort of like guidelines for that, but you don't necessarily have to use your family name. And so if you create a trust during your lifetime that's revocable, once you pass away, it becomes irrevocable. And this allows, your family to basically do what they need to do somewhat anonymously, right? So for instance, a lot of times we hear in like politics, when somebody wants to run for something or wants to get a particular position, they're like, well, you voted on this particular situation and this caused, trauma for these type of people. And you voted on this particular situation and this caused trauma for these type of people. So that's sort of like public, right? And so a lot of times families don't want for their either their political stance or their social ideals to be publicized. So they may not want to put their money behind certain things or back certain things. However, so like if they're going for a particular job or they're running for office or whatever, it's anything that's gonna like it's gonna be frowned upon that they made a particular decision. But when they get to make these decisions in, say, something like a trust that's anonymous, and they don't necessarily have to say it was me who made this decision, they can do certain things. Like you can I wanted to sort of like point out some things that are, politically motivated and heavily lobbied. So like gun laws, we hear all the time about, either the restriction of gun laws or how loose the gun laws are in certain states. And then there's this association called the NRA, heavily, heavily, heavily lobby, political individuals, whether it be senators, governors, whatever the case is, to make sure that they get what they want politically, right? And so money goes to these things, and it's usually going to come from wealthy families. There's like tons of wealthy families that make a difference in the laws and the lives of everyday people because they have the power to basically put their money behind whatever needs to, whatever needs to happen in order for their political ideals to change. And if you're frustrated about any sort of situation that is affecting you, your family, people like you, whatever it is, then know that the way that you go about it, or a very effective way to go about it, is to have um, that power to basically, put your money where your mouth is and affect the change, right? So if you're fortunate enough to leave a trust, leave a legacy, which we all have the power to do, life insurance helps us do that even if we can't build every single dollar or we can't earn every single dollar, right? We all have the power to start to build this impact, and we all have the power to put a trust in place to basically say, hey, these are the type of things that we should be pushing for. This is the type of change that, our family is about and that we want to see sort of in the world. And in doing so, you're able to really, make a difference. Other things that we've seen in the news, like we've seen abortion, whole bunch of stuff about abortion, a whole lot of changes that have happened, especially, in the Supreme Court. And, putting those individuals in place, money goes to electing these officials or pushing their campaigns and helping them to be put in place, putting the president in place who appoints these individuals. And so if these individuals are, going to be running for presidency and these families are putting money behind them, they're putting money behind them because they want their initiatives to be pushed. So if you want your initiatives to be pushed and your family's initiative and things that are going to affect your neighborhood and people like you, then you have to, do the same. That's how the game is played. Other things like taxes, how the rich is taxed, how the poor is taxed. We always hear about these things. All of these things are affected by lobbying. All of these things are pushing a political agenda. And so you can be part of that story, and we can start to sway things in a different direction. When you see certain people being disadvantaged by laws and things like that, and you want to see something different happen, then you can be sort of part of that story. So I don't want to sound like a broken record and keep repeating the same thing, but I just really want you to get, what I'm trying to say here about how trust can be really used as a tool to, one, provide that protection, that anonymity, pass on your assets, but also give your family a vehicle and a fund to tap into to be able to effectuate change. And you could literally, direct that happens. Okay. So listen, if this has resonated with you, if you think that, you want to talk about this, or you want to talk about how you can sort of implement something like this, well, my firm, the Ambitious Legacy Firm, we do this all the time. We help people implement and put these tools, these vehicles to pass on generational wealth and to make change, like we just talked about. So feel free to reach out to us. If we can help you, we'd be happy to help you. And if we can't help you, we'll be happy to refer you to a trusted partner. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.